Hey there, this is Tammy C. Walker, the owner of Dreams Are a Reality. I created this channel to provide light and love. How are you all doing out there? I am feeling good, feeling good. I have been away. I always have a story, don't I? I had the flu or something last week for 3 days. I had chills and oh my God, I was just out of here, you all. Not out of here like dead. Out of here mentally because I was not feeling well. I even lost weight. I needed to. Not that way, but I did need to lose some weight. So maybe this will be the start to something positive. But I wanted to get on the video, get on, camera. I have so much stuff to talk about. Now I'm so behind on all of this information I have to get to you. I'm still trying to get to that 500 subscribers so I can do my community tab. And it's a slow grind. I can't keep focusing on that, but it does keep popping up. Today, I want to talk about betting on yourself and why it's just so important. What does that betting on yourself mean? How does it work? And all the other great stuff. Well, when I say bet on yourself, what I'm saying is, for an example, instead of going to work for an employer, if you can do consulting in the field that you're probably going to go work in, bet on yourself. Now, it's easy to say because we have what? Bills to pay, we have our life set up. And if you're like me, I do depend on the employer's money to, pay my rent or whatever else. And my side hustle, that's my money. But sometimes we just gotta take the plunge. And it may be like a little scary at first. It may start off slow, but it may ramp up faster than you can even imagine. I know I have two really dear friends that started their own practice as a therapist, and the business shot up so quick that, I mean, within weeks, I would go with months. Seem a little bit safer to say. No, so one of them weeks because she just opened it in August and it's October. So that's 8 weeks. And she said, if I have six more people or so, I'm booked. So this is why betting on yourself 9 times out of 10 is going to work. I have just like 5 tips or so to tell you why it does work. Number one, that's why I have on my glasses. I got to read my chicken scratch here. Number one, you will feel self assured. Jimmy Butler, currently of the Miami Heat, used to play for my Chicago Bulls. And when he first came to the Bulls a few years ago, Jimmy, he's a hard hat style player. He'd put his head down. He's just going to go bang out those points. He uses his body muscle. He uses his skill to get inside. He's known for getting inside. He's not super fast though, but he'll do it in a slow way. But he's muscle and determination, and that determination eventually got him to become an all-star that he is. So when Jimmy was with the Bulls for a couple of years, he was making 2-3 million a year. He wasn't, like real well known. And once he came into that league and just started really being consistently good, he became very well known and a fierce competitor. So now it's time for the contract. So, Chicago, we known for controversy. What are you going to do, Jimmy? What if Chicago doesn't offer you a big contract? Oh, Jimmy, Jimmy, Jimmy. He's like, I'm betting on myself. Jimmy was like, I'm not even worried. I'm gonna go out there into that market. If the Chicago Bulls don't want to pay me, there's a lot of other teams that do because I have put in the work. He was self-assured. He's a Virgo. He is self-assured, and he knew every night I put on that uniform, I put my head down, and I go hard in the paint. And somebody's gonna pay me. And I think he went from 2-3 million a year to a 2 year $90 million contract, all because he bet on himself. And I remember when he said that, I was like, man, I like the sound of that. I like that. Bet on yourself. I was like, man, I'm going to remember that. So that was years ago, and it still sticks out to me. Bet on yourself, even if you fail. And sometimes we do fail in businesses or maybe we go back to school and we thought we were going to graduate in 3 years and maybe 3.5. Sometimes things get thrown off course a little bit. But when you bet on yourself, it still feels good. You still feel self assured. So that's one reason why you want to bet on yourself. Another reason why you want to bet on yourself, tip two, this is going to be your sweat, your blood, your tears. It doesn't make sense to go somewhere and work like a dog for an employer, but work real passively for yourself. If you're going to work hard for somebody else, you should be working harder for you, because that's your sweat, blood, and tears. That's your product you're putting out there. As an African American therapist, anytime I step in front of a new client, this is me coming to them. And I can't come sloppy. I can't come, oh gosh, new client. I'm so sorry, new client. Oh God, I'm so exhausted. Please forgive me. I had a long night. I'm sure you understand. No, these clients are coming to me with they're paying out of pocket. Some people, they are paying with their Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, Aetna, whatever, United Healthcare, whatever insurance they have. They need help. 9 times out of 10, they are depressed. They have anxiety. There are couples. Some of our couples come. Their marriage is on a lifeline. They want help. So they don't want to hear about, oh, I'm so sleepy, client. I know this is your first time meeting me. Please forgive me. And then I'm telling them about, I might give me another pet one day. I'm going to give me a cat. They don't want to hear my stuff. They want help. And I feel in my community, that's not my only clients, are not only African Americans, but the way things can be in our community with therapy, we were not raised to go to therapy. It can be taboo. So if I have an African American male client coming to me, this is pretty much most of the time it's their first time coming to therapy. What I'm trying to say in a roundabout kind of way is I have to put my best foot forward, because this is the first impression. Again, your sweat, blood, and tears is going to go into this. This is why betting on yourself really works. But when you do bet on yourself, make sure you present your best self. You know how some people, they'll say, oh, I hate interviewing. It makes me so nervous. Why are you nervous? A lot of times people are nervous because they are not prepared. If you are going to, let's say, IBM, you have an interview with IBM, have an interview with Apple, study that company. Know what their budget is looking like. Know what their budget was for 2021 or how their finances went. Maybe, Apple's always rolling out new products. Maybe know something about their latest product. Maybe know something about a prototype they're working on. Really learn about that company. What position are you applying for? Study that position. Look at your own resume. What did you do that was outstanding? Did you save money for your company? Did you start up a special procedure? Know your stuff. And so when people say they're real nervous on an interview, I always feel like maybe they're not prepared. Maybe that's why they're so nervous. Some people don't like talking to others or whatever. I get it. But practice. That way when you hit the interview, you already know your stuff. You know about their company. You know the situational questions they're going to ask you. If you don't, go type in interviewing questions, situational questions. It's going to give you 10 questions. They're pretty much doing the same thing. And, do your best. I know some interviews are tough, like those panel interviews. You feel like it's 6 people, 4 people just shooting questions at you. That could be nerve-wracking. I do agree with that. But one-on-ones and somebody on Zoom and all that stuff, don't let that rattle you. Know your stuff, and you will not be as nervous. It's your sweat, blood, and tears. Okay, number 3 tip. Stay ready. You don't have to get ready. Recently, a young person told me they were ready to go and join the basketball team at their school. And no, they were not, because that coach said, you are not conditioned. You are not in shape. Therefore, you cannot join this team. If you want to join a team, you want to play a sport, you got to always have your body ready. Even if you're younger, even if you're a teen, it's no pass. If my nephew is 9, he'll be 10 next week. But his body is lean. He eats salad, chicken. He's conditioned because he's been playing basketball since he was 3. And he knows, like, my body is important. It's important for me to stay fit. A little kid knows this. I'm really impressed with him, to be honest. Very impressed. Not just because he's my great nephew, but an almost 10-year-old knows I have to keep my body conditioned. That's pretty darn good. Stay ready. That way you don't have to rush and get conditioned. You don't have to rush and get your resume ready. That resume, keep your resume always ready. Always stay a step ahead. It's somebody I know, I haven't talked to her in years, but she stayed at this company for over 20 years. But it did her a disservice because she did not sharpen her skills, and she began to get sloppy with her presentations and different things she had to do, and they ended up firing her. But if you spend over 20 years somewhere, you shouldn't get fired. She needed to stay ready, which would mean go back to school. Keep your skills sharp. I'm not saying get a degree, but keep your certificate sharp. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing finance, stay on top of it. Stay on top of Excel. Stay on top of things that can help you get promotions. Don't get comfortable and sloppy, then you get let go after 20 years. That's not how it's supposed to go. Stay ready. You don't want to have to rush and get ready. Okay, tip number 4. A lot of times, people don't even know who you are. An employer may have you as an employee. They don't know that you can bake a mean cake. They don't know that you wrote 2 books. They don't know that you could sing soprano. You could sing in an operatic voice. They don't know you could play all those instruments. They don't know the greatness that you possess inside. So this is why you need to bet on yourself, because you know how great you are. You know about those long nights you stayed up at school, in school doing those papers. That was me, 2 in the morning, typing away, thinking about that student loan that I had signed. All right, Uncle Joe, I see you. I'm waiting on my $20,000 to come off. But people don't know about your sweat, blood, and tears. Back to that. They don't know the greatness you possess inside, but you know. And this is why you're going to get on out there and bet on yourself. Go. You want to go back to school? I hear you. In 2023, start your application now. It's October. You can be ready for January. You have a business plan you're working on, go to score.org. It's all free. Retired CEOs will help you with your business. Don't put it off. Do not put this off. They don't know you. They don't know the beauty you possess inside, but you do. So bet on yourself. Last but not least, this will help you get paid what you deserve. This is the beauty of being a consultant with your own company. I'm a therapist. I can charge, pretty much can charge what I want when someone doesn't have insurance. Now, I'm not going to rip anybody off or say some strange price. That's just not me. But it does feel good to ask for, hey, $80 an hour, $100 for this session. I can do that because I have the license to back it up. I have the education to back it up. Now I have years of experience to back it up. And people, they really appreciate us therapists. I really appreciate them. Like somebody said on a commercial, it's an honor to be a therapist. It really and truly is a blessing from God, because when you're talking to most of the clients, everybody's going to have that onesie twosies that's really difficult. So I will always admit that. But I would say 90-some% of my clients, I'm blessed to be in this business because it doesn't feel like work. I feel like I'm helping them. Now, this is when you know you're where you're supposed to be. It does not feel like tough work. I feel like I'm helping, I'm assisting, I'm encouraging, and I pray that something I say or something they've read or something that's in a workbook that we're working on, something that they meditate on helps them, going forward. If they're not in therapy anymore, they can refer back to journaling. They can refer back to essential oil. They can refer back to a meditation that can help them when they're anxious, when they're depressed, when they're grieving. That's the prayer, I'm sure, that of many good therapists. We just simply want to help. So I hope something I said is helping with the bet on yourself. Always believe in yourself. If you don't, an employer will not. If you don't, a business owner will not, fund your business because you don't believe in yourself. I am Tammy Sharice Walker, the owner of Dreams Are Reality, this great channel. Thank you so much for your support, for sharing, for caring, for always being here. Drop me some comments on maybe sometimes you bet on yourself or how you feel about betting on yourself and will you be betting on yourself and all that other good stuff. I'll be back, of course, with more great information, and have a beautiful night and have a good rest of the week. Bye bye. God bless. Love you all.